You are welcome to the interface. My name is Eric Ampovo. We are looking at how Africans are presenting Christianity and making it a religion which is not palatable. We are looking at how Africans are handling Christianity today, which is making it a mystical religion. We are looking at how Christianity is being penetrated with falsehood. We have been discussing in previous chapters how African preachers have handled certain scriptures with a good intention, all right, but because of the cultural way of African teachings, it makes things go a little overboard by demonizing everything. What we are doing now is that as much as we have good intention, we don't have to lump a lot of things together and altogether pronounce them evil. By so doing, we'll be creating a cause to stumble on our own path. And I've given examples about our approach, how we view the word alcohol, wine or alcohol, how we view it in Christendom today in Africa. We think anybody who takes alcohol is going straight into hell. Meanwhile, Scripture have said no such thing. We have also seen how we handle the wearing of trousers in previous episodes. It is against that same that we are continuing in this episode. If you want to really understand where we are going today, please visit our YouTube channel and look for the part 2 of Christianity Today, and you will follow the discussion. So I'll continue from where we left off on the previous episode. So now we are talking about the wearing of trousers and how the moment you say, but this is not scripture, you'll be told, have you forgotten it is in the Bible? Where then go and open Deuteronomy chapter 22. You see, read from the verse 5. Okay, so we went to Deuteronomy chapter 22 verse 5. Please, if we can project it on the screen for us, then it will be there. So look at what is written on the screen. The scripture simply says, a woman shall not wear anything that pertaineth unto a man. Good. I'm paraphrasing as is written there. Now, what he said is a woman should not wear anything that pertaineth unto a man. So how does that become trouser? So it is over expansion of a scriptural passage that is bringing this particular doctrine. And I know big congregations, churches who are projecting this. And even at night, when you go for worship, where there are mosquitoes, and you need to protect yourself, you see the men comfortably sitting down because they are wearing full trousers to the down and wearing even socks. Then these women will be wearing skirts with spaces inside, the mosquitoes entering and eating their legs. You see men seated comfortably in cold weathers, and you see the women wearing skirts and wearing sleeves and kaba without anything inside. With a perfect occasion for a trouser to be worn, a good trouser to be worn under perhaps the skirt. Or if not under, any good trouser can best protect the body, because the preachers of African religion of Christianity, African version of Christianity, has made this passage look like the pertaineth unto a man is equal to trouser. So no, it becomes a burden, it becomes a stumbling block, and people have to sit in mosquitoes, sit in bad weather. I heard a story about a certain church who practices no wearing of trousers by a woman, having to travel abroad to like something like an international conference. And upon the travel, they went with some of the big wigs in the women ministry, the women leaders from their country, Africa. They went abroad, and at the airport, fellow Christians in the same church came to pick them up with a car. It came to meet them at the airport arrival. And the first thing the women noticed is that the women who came from the whites, the women, the foreigners, the women who came to pick them, some of them were wearing trousers. So they quickly asked their preachers they went with, their leaders, the men, that are these people not members? And he said, oh, yes, they are members. He said, the women asked them, how come they are wearing trousers? And they said, oh, it's because of the weather. It's because of the weather. How? Because of the weather? He said, because it's winter. That's why they are wearing trousers. So God knows winter. So if it is winter there, God says, okay, this rule doesn't matter. When winter goes, this rule matter. That is how God does his things. What is right every day. What is wrong every day. Whether hot or cold, it is wrong. And if it is not wrong, whether hot or cold, it is not wrong for God's sake. So they try to make politics out of it. Oh, it's because of the weather. Okay, then the women, they can also say that, okay, when we come to Africa and we come to the rainy season, okay, because of the weather, I'll start wearing trousers. Are they wrong? No. If it is Hamatan, because of Hamatan, I'll start wearing trousers. Is it wrong? But you see, if indeed that is what scripture was saying, then whether it is Hamatan, whether it is winter, whether it is sunny, it will be wrong. There are no double standards in scripture. What is wrong everywhere. And what is right. So now, the scripture is saying anything that pertains unto a man. What it's saying is that anything that is made, that is designed for a man. So in their context, it is not even for Christians, but in their context. So anything, if a bowl they used to eat, this one is for men. A woman, do not touch it. Do not use it. If a chair, this chair is made for man. A woman, don't sit on that chair. The moment you sit there, you have defiled it. So anything that pertained, it doesn't mean trouser. Even in those times, where was trouser? But this is how African ministers, we read the thing, and what we think anything that pertains to man. Okay, in Ghana, it is men who wear trouser. So then fine, assuming then we make such a conclusion. What about you go to Scotland? It is not men who wear trouser. In Scotland, their traditional wear skirt. They wear skirt. And skirt, if you come to Ghana, is for women. So in that case, then they cannot go to heaven if that is what God is actually saying. But God is not saying that. So even in those times, that is what it means. You see, let me give you a little bit background of those times. It was man intensive. Women were nothing. Women were filthy. Women were not fit. Women were so sidelined, maligned. So it is only right for what to be made for a man not to be used by a woman, by so doing, defiling the thing. And by so doing, it went on to say that it clarified that a man should not also wear the garment of a woman. Because you, the man, you stand in as God. You stand in for God. So you cannot defile yourself by also using the garment of a woman. Good. You cannot defile yourself by using the garment of a woman. So this has nothing to do with trouser. Let's come back into contemporary times. Let's apply. Assuming this one will apply. What it will say is that when a car is made for a man, woman, don't go and buy that car and use. In fact, if this is really what we want to work with, that's the meaning. If a style of building is for men to build, you woman, don't build that style. If the front of a car was designed, the front of the Trotsky, public transport, if it was designed with woman in mind, you the man, you cannot go and sit in that front. If it was designed with a man at the back of the designer's mind, you the woman, you cannot go and sit there. So that is how difficult their situation was. And against all these things, Jesus Christ came to sacrifice himself to relieve us from this kind of hideous arrangements which are not fit even in today's context. But there are certain preachers, people who handle the scriptures, who are making Christians believe that a woman should not wear trousers. It is not also about the trousers. The Bible have never said anything like that. So these are some of the reasons why African Christianity, it looks very much like Christianity, but it has been adulterated with African way of teaching and understanding. Now, there is also a notion that women should not plait their hair, and they quote the scripture. I've already cited that in previous video. Women should not plait their hair, not wearing. They said fine. Then they'll tell you it's Paul's statement. It's Paul's statement. Let's visit the statement. It's also in that same 1 Timothy chapter 2 verse 9. 1 Timothy chapter 2 verse 9. Is that really what Paul was saying? Check with me. 1 Timothy 2:9. Paul opens his statement. In like manner also, that women adorn themselves in modest apparel, with shamefacedness and sobriety, not with broidered hair, or gold, or pearls, or costly array. Okay. Then, hooray! Paul has confirmed it. Women should not do that. Because this is a big doctrine in certain Christian group fellowships. Paul has said it. But is that really what Paul is saying? I'll read it again. As it projected on the screen. Read with me. Check it. Check it yourself. 1 Timothy chapter 2 verse 9. In like manner also, that women adorn themselves in modest apparel, with shamefacedness and sobriety, not with broidered hair, or gold, or pearls, or costly array. Paul is by no means saying that women shouldn't do any of the not. That is not what he's saying. What Paul is actually saying is that instead of being beautiful with these things, be more beautiful with inner character, inner things. So it doesn't mean these things are bad or don't do them. But instead of you making sure these are what is making you beautiful, because yes, there are women in their inner soul, they are not beautiful at all. They are aggressive, they are disrespectful, they are not submissive, they are abhorrent, but on the outward, they are so beautiful. So, because woman is so beautiful outside, and the outside can be so illustrious, can be so vivid, Paul is trying to draw their attention that focus on inner beauty small. So, instead of when we see you, we see your beautiful hair. When we see you, we see your beautiful ring. When we see your beautiful chain. Your beautiful what, all these things. When we see you, or when you are seen as a woman, we should see a humble woman. We should see a woman who is loving, a woman who is kind, a woman who is soft-spoken, a woman who is dignified. So, even your outward and your inward must all express that you know Christ. Paul is never saying don't wear chain. You can wear chain. You can plait your hair. You can do whatever you want to do. But do more of what will bring out your inner beauty. And that is what Paul was saying about. So African kind of interpretation and African kind of postulations, understanding, making things taboo. No, if you don't say it this way, they will go and find, before you see them, people are doing some styles. No, when they start doing styles which are ungodly, we tell them this is too much. But we don't have to demonize everything the scripture have not said. This is the problem of Christianity in Africa. We will continue from our next episodes.